This what happened when you start.
I guess it's half past the monkey's ass. In other words, it's time for Hump Day Edition. Welcome to the show, man. I am Kevin Barnes, the Negro Whisperer, here tonight to just do what we do on the People's News Network, man. Just let it fly. Get it off your chest, as they say, or say it with your chest, either way, depending on which side you're standing on. But like I said, man, I'm the host of this little thing. We're going to have a little fun tonight, talk about some stuff that's serious, some stuff that's funny. And if you want to participate in the conversation, just hit the chat room. If you're listening live, share the show. We also have a phone number. It's 262-202-5131. Run across the bottom of the screen. I'm not alone. I got my co-host with me. What's popping with you, nephew?
Chilling, man. Blessed to be here. How you doing today?
Man, holding on, trying to be strong, man. It's hot outside and I'm old. Sure. It's old and bitter, man. Just old and bitter. That's all I am.
I feel. They said the cool front's supposed to be coming tonight, bringing a little rain and cooling it down to about 70 for the next couple of days. So just hold on. A change is coming, like they used to say.
They don't tell me it's gonna be raining tonight because my ass will be outside. I don't know what it is about sitting outside, not in the rain, but like in my garage.
Man, you ain't alone, man. That's okay. Me too. I love being on my porch, just watching the rain, singing Carl Thomas and shit with a mason jar, apple crown.
Something like that, right?
Right.
Yeah, I thought maybe people say, okay, if you done had a rail on the show too long, now you turn into a hippie. You sitting out in the rain. That's something I've always done. Like, since I was a jit, I used to like to sit on the porch and when it be raining. But welcome to the show, man. Normally we're on Mondays and Wednesdays. Big Black Sports Show is coming back. I got all kinds of stuff in the works. Like Puffy say, can't stop, won't stop. So we just keep it moving, man. This is like the last Outlaw Radio for the week because this is the Hump Day edition, but we'll be back next Monday. I'm trying to figure out a way to bring Outlaw Nation back, but I really want to reserve that for interviews. So if you want to get on the show, and
let me know.
Yeah, promote whatever. Whoever wants to come on, you want to do it. Thursday night Outlaw Nation is the spot for that, right? Even if you just want to promote businesses, if you just want to just come on and promote your business all night, different people, I'm willing to do it that way as well, man. So hit me up. Hit that number, 262-202-5131. Outlaw Radio, the people's choice. I know it doesn't take a genius to figure out why I call this show the people's choice. What do you think about that, Rail?
I think it'll rock, but I'm guessing it's going off of the the voting that took place yesterday. But I don't know. That's the only person I respect was the people's champ.
Right. Well, see, I don't know if this is just a thing about getting older, but actually sitting and watching these political shenanigans and the way that game moves is kind of entertaining at a certain. It's kind of entertaining.
It is, right?
Because it's just
like the WWF.
Yeah, it's a whole soap opera. It's like the House of Montagues versus the House of Capulets. It's you know what I mean? Like it's North versus South, white versus black, and money is flowing in different places and going like so. I thought these were like last night. A lot of people ran unopposed, right? Yeah, and once again, we don't identify with either party. So if you think, well, no, they black, they got to be Democrats. You're wrong. No, for me, if you just are about improving the community, if you are just a leader who's about improving quality of life in the city, I could rock with you no matter what you are, Republican or Democrat. It just so happens when I look at these two particular parties in this state, they are what people think they are, right? Like some rich white people. Neither side gives a fuck about you, but they try to like bait you and lure you in. So that's kind of
just like the WWF, made up beef. They really golf and chill together and shit.
Right. K5 they call it. But no, and so the thing is like I said, it's very interesting to watch. I watched Mandela Barnes win his primary, so he's going to go against Ron Johnson. A lot of black people don't know who Ron Johnson is. Like this is a real conservative kind of up north Wisconsin.
I see him every day on YouTube. Every time I try to watch music, it's like the Democrats are spending out of control. And I'm like, shit, Ron Johnson got my vote if he bring this inflation down. But then again, you gotta understand it's politics. That motherfucker might be lying or some shit. So I'm just still waiting and chilling to see who was the best person to cast my vote to, man. Whoever can get this bread down and stop them from throwing more money at the Ukraine and shit while inflation is showing his ass.
We made history. A sister, Danita Bell, or Ball is Ball, right? I don't want to mispronounce her name. Danita Ball. She was elected first Black woman sheriff in the history of the department, county sheriff, and the first Black woman sheriff elected in the history of the state. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Hit me with that ism. I don't know. I know y'all more informed than me, but I mean, so once again, we get another Black leader, and I guess Ernell Lucas, who had been the sheriff, kind of said, "I'm good on that." He tried to run for what, mayor or something like? Yeah, he tried to run for mayor. And Cavy, as I call him, Mayor Cavy came through, knocked him down, right? So, but yeah, so now I don't know, like, does this mean what? The county sheriff is about to be what? Because it's a Black woman in charge. I mean, it's good for Black people, but I don't expect all of a sudden. I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm hating. I'm just like, all right, cool, right? So because it's a good time to be alive and Black in Milwaukee, or Black and alive, whichever way you see it, because we do have all these Black elected officials, like in some high positions finally. But it's like, I want to hold on to my optimism. I want things to get better, but Mandela Barnes, like I said, he came on the show along, like when he first started out his path here politically in Milwaukee. He was on the show a bunch of times. He won. Oh man, and one of the friends of our show, Orlando Owens, who was running for state treasurer under the Republican banner, he lost. So, and the thing about Orlando is my guy. He's my guy.
Yeah.
But the Kool-Aid for the Republican shit, he's drank 3 or 4 or 5 cups of it, right?
Oh,
and so he like, we can get along, we can have great conversations, we can talk about a lot of different things. But when he starts like spewing that or I should say regurgitating that shit that they, the shit that they teach him to say. And I'm like, come on, cuz, like, you really think, like, so he went, I ain't gonna say he jumped the shark, but I would say he jumped the cow, because he went to every state fair, all these farm fairs and cattle salesmen and all this, and he was at the Minocqua County Fair. He's smiling with a bunch of white dudes, and I'm like, Orlando, this is high comedy. Like, nah, man, I go where I'm tolerated. These people gonna vote for me. And they voted for him. They voted for another Republican, ironically, who I didn't even know who he was. So shout out to Orlando, man. When you want to come on the show, we can talk about it. Chop it up, man. I ain't gonna talk, bad on your party, but like I said, man, in Wisconsin, they are who they are. Go ahead, brother.
Did the other cat kind of look more similar to the other 80% of Wisconsin?
I guess apparently, but I don't even know what he looks like, because I asked him, like, who beat you? He told me. I said, who's he? He said, a nobody. I said, white? He said, yes. Like,
okay, well, there you go. 80%.
They got at him.
80% of Wisconsin, man. We got Southeast.
I think, well, you got to say, you're saying 80%. You got to say 85. You got to say,
Oh, damn, it's 85?
88, because we're like 12% of the state. That's what we might be.
Oh shit, I thought they was 80, but damn. Okay, well, there you go. So he can be 12. A nobody. All he got to be is
that
is the right thing. Yeah,
So in southeastern Wisconsin, I think 85% of that 12% lives in southeastern Wisconsin. So when you get to Milwaukee, it's 40% Black in Milwaukee, if not a little bit more. But no, I said people's choice because people went to vote, and it's a process that I like to watch play out. I know a lot of people say you ain't voting, they ain't voting, we don't vote. Mm-hmm. I think it's a beautiful process. I just kind of trip off watching it, because watched all the pre-gaming up to election night, and then you watch them live from their headquarters, and if for some bitch losing, you can see it on his face. It's like, God damn. And he got but more importantly, when I say the people's choice, I don't think people really understand how much say-so they could actually have in this, because we have individuals who are in the House of Representatives, congressmen, senators, the lieutenant governor, the governor, all these different elections. These are, and anytime it's any judge or anything, we should jump right down. If this whole repealing of the Roe versus Wade thing ain't showed you nothing else, it should have absolutely showed you that we got some crazy people on the Supreme Court that, apparently they ain't like us, because they brought up some shit from 50 years ago. And I'm like, what else? And like everybody said, what else y'all looking back at to repeal? So that means we got the wrong people sitting there. So, it's the people's choice. Now, if our choice is not to vote, not to participate in the system, the democratic system at all, people say I'm a black man, I'm sovereign, I'm a separatist, well, I'm a Moor, I'm an Israelite, I'm a Damascus, Leviticus, whatever. If you make that choice, then you really have no say-so or no kind of like opinion in how it goes. You kind of strip yourself of that. So you basically say, you know what? Fuck that. I'm just going to do what I do. I'm going to do what I do to make sure I can move how I move. The problem you're going to run into is more likely than not, you're going to run into that system in order to expand what you're doing. It's not, it'll be no way around it. Like, I got to go into the city today from the hills, and so I got to go into town and buy some white folks. And you get your natural ass out in the woods and run out of toilet paper.
They actually got a plant you could grow.
I know. I knew you was gonna say that. Right. Well, it take you a long time till you find that plant. You buy some Charmin. But no. So, like I said, then if you do choose to get involved and you do say, well, I'm gonna vote, then I'm gonna get out here and do what I do. Then you need to hold those individuals that you vote for accountable for what they do. You actually have a dog in the fight. Do you have the most power in the world as one voter? No. I don't know if there's ever been an election that they call and say, God damn, this motherfucker won by one vote. I don't know if it's ever been an election. So it's really not like, okay, your vote is so powerful. It takes all of us. It takes a group of us. It takes a lot of us to get on the same kind of thing and say, nah, this is what we rather have downtown, in the county, in Madison, whatever. But yeah, man, people's choice, man. Now, I don't know, because you don't really elaborate on your political kind of thing much, man. So I don't know how you sit on it. So I don't know where you at with it.
Me, man, I really feel like honestly, I feel like it ain't even worth getting into until I got the money to really matter. I don't feel like, petitions and all that shit work. I really think you need to have to pay to play. So that's how I look at it. It's like I'm working on my economic standpoint before I even look into politics. It might be backwards, but for me, it's like I ain't even looking into playing that game until I got the money to play it right. Because otherwise, you got to try to get a skillion and three people together to form some kind of coalition to say, hey, we other people pledge our vote if you do this for us. Like, that's what everybody else do. Every other ethnic group, they come together and then they go to their person as a group for a group issue. And I don't think we do that. So I'm not even trying. I just want to get my bread up so that I can pay somebody.
Right.
Pay a lobbyist or some shit to change some shit.
So you on that? What up, Deacon Mikey Davis? What's happening, my brother? Oh man, neighborhood right there. Much love, Mikey. So you on that? You're in that group that'll say, "Well, I'm just gonna do what I do. I'm not even tripping on it. I'm just let it do what it do."
Because I see it's like this. I look at it as the agenda for both people. I mean, the agenda is the same no matter who in office. It's just the method is different. So that's like a motherfucker coming to you and say, hey, which hand you want to get slapped with, the left or the right? The agenda is to slap you. You might be able to say, well, I'm going to go with the left hand because that's a little bit weaker and I see that shit. Nah, to me, it's like they still going into that same direction as power, control, reducing your freedoms and rights. So now, we had the COVID thing. Now we got the energy thing where they talk about we look in the save the environment, whereas them digging for that lithium for those electric batteries is wrecking the world a whole lot worse. So To me, it's all bullshit, man. I try not to get distracted by the bullshit.
I hear you. I mean, like I say, I thought people approach it from different angles. You know what? I vote when I feel like I should. So I'm not sitting here trying to sell you that I'm at every poll, no. This is shit I just sat out. Like, I ain't gonna go up there. But it's certain shit that I'm like, nah, I'm gonna get out, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go do this. Just because, you know what I'm saying? And I understand the whole one thing ain't, a whole lot, but if a lot of us didn't feel that way, if large groups of us just said, nah, mine with his and his and his and his and his and hers and hers and hers will make a difference. It's a bunch of different ways to skin a cat, man. I mean, it ain't no like I can't sell nobody on no political party. I can't sell anybody on partisan politics, and I wouldn't try to, because I think it's just a fruitless pursuit. It's good to know, though. It's very good to watch these processes.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful for me to see Mandela Barnes go from the dude who I met 7 years ago, trying to become an alderman, to where he is now. Like, this brother's a step away from being a senator. I mean, a congressman.
Okay. So, yeah, that's dope.
This is crazy. So, and to watch DC from doing community organizing 7-8 years ago. DC was a youngster, but stayed on the block, stayed in the neighborhood, stayed out in the city, stayed out in the community, working for somebody, doing neighborhood outreach and whatever. So I like to see that process play out. So, Mr. Carter, man, what's going on with
you? Peace, man. How y'all doing, man? Peace, I'm good, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little late. I'm sorry. I apologize. I just had to get my energy together, man. It's a long day. But I'm here.
Okay.
With my new sign.
You got
my sign at the end of the day, you know what I mean? So that kind of picked me up too. You know what I mean? So
that's fly as hell too.
Yeah, that's real nice.
Tapestry.
If you could get that digitally and send it to me, we could put that up during the show. Like, we can flash that.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I can do that. I gotta get it from Control C.
Right.
Control C did my thing. You know what I mean?
So they gotta have it. They gotta have a flash drive.
I appreciate the work, man. Tyson,
they gotta have a flash drive, man.
Huh?
They gotta have a flash drive, so they got it. You just gotta get it from.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. I could get it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Welcome to the show, though. It's Outlaw Radio, the People's Choice. I was just talking about the elections that we had last night, and we just got to kind of discussing, people who vote, and what if you're going to vote, how you should move, and if you choose not to, which is in some people's view a viable option, then you got to move a certain way in that regard too. So Rail felt kind of like one way, where he's just like, nah, until I get on a level where I can just fuck with special interest groups and lobbyists and shit like that. Y'all do what y'all do. I'm gonna be over here selling books. So I said, no, I will vote.
Selling books and buying land.
Right. Books and land, right?
Books and land.
Hey, now see, hey, look, now if they talking about how can we get some land without paying taxes and shit, I bet you they'll get real attention. And that's what I was saying. You know what I mean? If our alderman was really for us, you dig what I'm saying? A lot more of us would come out there and vote if they was really doing shit for us. Because see, a lot of people in the holistic community, they done lost all hope in the government shit. You know what I'm saying? And that whole system, man. You know what I mean? So a lot of us really would like to see some action, and that will get us going. And I'm saying us because I'm a part of that community. Although I do vote now, you know what I'm saying? But I understand what's happening over here is what I'm saying.
It seems like it's very hard to understand why our elected officials, black elected officials, aldermen and whatnot, move the way they do. But I do understand it, right? Because there's a civic duty. It's a job where you have to do a bunch of different things. And then, you're supposed to represent these people over here in this district.
Yeah, right. So to do all that, right?
Well, yeah, because you got so much popping at the same time, and listen.
Then if you don't pick their side, you don't get paid. You wind up out of there, and that's the problem too. Like, I think we need to have faith in each other, man. You know what I mean? Do some radical shit. See if they'll back you up.
Well, see, and then, like I say, when you get down to you're just an alderman, right? Like, so you can't, like, people say you should be able to do something. I think some aldermen say, nah, I really can't. Like, I could make a phone call. I could call somebody and make a complaint, right? Or whatever, but I don't have like the pool you probably think I have. Now, when you start moving up to higher levels, where you talking about now, the mayor, you talking about a chief of staff, or you talking about, a county supervisor or a county executive, something like that. Now, those brothers, if you can get their ear to say, hey, hey, and it's very hard because they so consumed with doing all of the other shit. Right, like because ultimately got to sit through hours and hours of licensing hearings, and then they got to meet, and they got to go into committees. And I'm not making no excuse for them. I'm just saying, a lot of times we think they can do something that they can't. Now, what they should be investing in is more grassroots organizations, like really working hand in hand with them, saying, I'm gonna build a bridge between the community and City Hall so that I can have resources, so that I can, when I hear something, I can get some people over there. I'm down here making inroads for that. But Milwaukee is a city more often than not where I'm learning you got to sit your black ass down and play the game. You got to smile, man. You got to be affable. All that what we gonna do about us? And we black and no. Look, Leroy, have a seat. We're gonna tell you how this is gonna go, right? Like you got to walk your ass a little bit tighter. It ain't sweet, you know what I'm saying? Like Kamar said, if I'm an alderman and I'm going against the grain because I'm with the people and I'm the motherfuckers down there ain't gonna fuck with me, right? Man, listen, one of the greatest aldermen we ever had, and I think he probably was one of the greatest black politicians of his time period in this country, was Michael McGee Sr. Because Mike was about the community, for real, and would go down there and make some noise and would be out and connected with the community to the point where a lot of them other black aldermen was like, nah, I ain't fucking with you. And Mike could always, the commander, I should say, could always depend on us voting for him until they redistrict him and they redistrict him. And then he ran for a county supervisor, I believe, and we didn't follow him up. We didn't get him elected. So, but when you go down there and you like that, then you allow him out. What's that brother name who's out there with the protesters and all that? I think he's an alderman. I don't know his name, Kamar. He was all at all the marches. He was all out in Wauwatosa. Was it Bowen? Yeah, brother David Bowen. Remember, he was out here, and they got on that boy ass, man. They was trying to.
Yeah, he do get out here. I see him everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he had to fall back a little bit though.
Yeah, because of what we were just talking about. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like maybe it's something a little bit more that they can do. Like you said, a lot of us think that or expect them to do stuff that they can't do, that may be out their power. Well, what if we held like different forums and shit, and start getting some of these leaders together and talk about, well, this is who we should go holler at. This is what's happening. You know what I mean? And get these leaders to go to the right people, the right channels to do it then. I don't know, man. But they got to be involved. They got to do something, man, whatever it is. Like I said, they got to be radical, do some radical shit that's going to get the people behind it.
Right.
We like drama.
I think though, they kick it off, but then as far as the follow through from the community, they really don't get it. Like when you talk about Mike McGee, I remember that whole chant that hey, ho, ho, Booty Island gotta go. Like they was, the whole Beauty Island. I was about to say Booty Island, but I remember that chant, but it was us still shopping with them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So they kicked the shit off, but I don't think they get the support and follow through because if people really wanted that place, I don't know if they still treat people wrong and shit. I think they still there. But if people really wanted to see that place shut down, then all they had to do was stop shopping
going
with them.
Stop going. Genius.
Right. So that'd be the thing.
Yeah.
Shout out to Crystal Ship. I just asked, can we get a digital version of this so we can post a banner on the show, Crystal? So if y'all got a digital copy of it, shoot it too, so we can put it on the internet and make it do what it does. Right. We got to be TTG, right? Train to go. I'm using this shit forever.
Yeah.
TTG.
Right. No. And you know what? I think there is so much more you can do. There's always more you could do if it's, But I just think that it comes down to working in our community. It comes down to a person who's put all of this kind of like weight behind their career, so to speak. Like I've worked myself up. I've done this. I paid my dues. I'm an alderman. I'm trying to make inroads. I'm trying to get connected. It comes down to, man, I'm not gonna lose my job because of you. Because I want to, if I say, brother, I support you, and then I bring you around, you go to woofing, but you go to woofing on some of my political allies, and you don't even know it. So now you costing me money, and I be like, hey, bro, you got, what you talking about, man? You sell out ass nigga. You know what? It's cool. Don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. So, and that's why so many times people say, man, I was talking to dude, man, I was hollering at dude, man, I went to a couple of events, met him there, and I got up and I kept it real with them motherfuckers. And then dude didn't fuck with me no more. Yeah, because dude got to get reelected. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, too, I ain't losing my job behind you motherfuckers. So I think if a real grassroots people, community-based political organization, like what they call a political action group, if they really got together and said, no, accountability will be had in this city by the politicians. It's our focus. That's what we're doing. And we're going to report out to the people. And when it comes time to vote, we'll be able to distribute information where's data about every candidate. So say, go vote tomorrow, but just be an informed voter. Here's all the logistics of the election. I think we started like that, it could be effective, but I also think if these aldermen try to create, and I guess some of them go to block club meetings. How does this work? Or do you go down into the common council and meet or whatever? I just think it should be regular dialogue between them and the city, especially if you got a black county executive who was raised here and you have a black mayor who was raised here. A great show of solidarity would be something that could come on Fox 6 once every month where they all just sit down.
Yeah, and then they won't have to get mad at us for getting mad at them. For doing shit, for not doing shit that we feel like they should be able to do. They should be able to take it to the right channels, not us. It ain't like we can just go knock on their office door. You know what I mean? If we tell our aldermen what we need and what to do, they need to go take the right channels to get this shit taken care of. Not us. They shouldn't be telling us right back. Well, you need to call the right people.
Well, what tends to happen then is that's why I talked about partisan politics, because then it comes into play where the people in your party will say, I don't think you should sit down with him. And you say, nah, but we all come together, we sit down and, well, I don't think you should go. So, I can't come this week and all this kind of, it's like, man, some bullshit, man. So, but that would be a great place to start, right? Like, and just say, and put it on Fox 6, put it on Channel 12. Yeah. Sunday evening. Hey, man, this is it.
What the community saying or some shit. Right. You know what I mean? To talk about that shit. What can we do?
I see y'all out there jotting this shit down. Don't be trying to use my
weekly forums. They write weekly forums on Fox 6.
The community forum, right? The community speech. You come up with 1 million names, you get the right people in the room and structure it so it's done well. And have black businesses be able to advertise on TV, give them discounted rates for that. Come on, man. See, this is the kind of thing these leaders need to be getting off into. But once again, I think they be so concerned about man. Oh, man. Another meeting? What? Another phone call? Can you imagine this motherfucker coming in to his office on Monday and check his voicemail? He probably got 200 voicemail. There's no way he's listening to all them shits. Ask his secretary, anybody leave a message? No, not that I know of. Well, shit. You be like, I know I left that motherfucker a message. Then you was 275 out of 290. Like, they're not reading. Right. So you got to connect. You got to figure out a better way to connect, especially if with all of your anti-violence initiatives, you are consistently asking the community to get involved. Why should we help you motherfuckers? Right? It's tough enough trying to survive in this shit ourselves. So why? But y'all want us to help y'all and do y'all job, and y'all got all the money. It don't work like that. It doesn't work like that.
All the money.
All the money. They got all the money. All the money. Man, they spending it where they want to, and they doing whatever they want to do with it. See, and that's what would fuck me up if I got in with an alderman, because I'd be done said some shit. They'd be like, "Oh, Kevin, hey, how you doing? Hey, Mr. Coptoxley heard your show. They think about sponsoring you, but you guys are talking about this thing, and Kamar's it's insulting big pharma, and your friend Rel was talking about whores and selling masks. You can't be with us if you're going to talk about these things on your show. I was like, oh man, y'all fired.
They all good. They used to be at the Bunny Ranch in Vegas before they shut it down. Because that's all it be. It be the matter of legalities, man. You say some shit legal today, I guarantee you the same motherfuckers that talk down on it gonna be doing it tomorrow. You know that's just how it go.
He'll be doing it in the
right
because he already doing it.
Right.
Now I see that there's an accusation of Milwaukee. This is in the People's News Network as well. It's an accusation for there's a group that's saying Milwaukee is guilty of creating containment zones for poor and low income people. In essence, keeping all of the poorest people, making sure that they all stay together. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, well, yeah, we knew that, didn't we? I thought that was like the reason. I thought that was called redlining.
That's called Barada property.
Right. I mean, right. Exactly.
Dog, I own my shit, and the more shit he buy up around my block, man, it's like, god damn, I need to sell. Like, man, when I moved over here, shit, all my neighbors was either white, Hmong, some shit like that. I ain't got no problem with black folk, but I like to be the hoodest motherfucker on my block. I don't need shooting at the corner now. Motherfuckers doing donuts. You know, so motherfucking properties.
Sharon Evans said, really, you got your Hefner crushed velvet robe. You got your Hugh Hefner on, man. She don't know about young Hugh.
Hugh Hefner, yeah. Flesh.
Nephew do the most with the Hugh Hefner. He'd be like, yeah,
man,
baby.
I had to be at work all day today, man. I had to go into the office today, so man, I've been home for 2 years, so now I hate clothes, man. So as soon as I got to the door, it was silkies and beater, and then I said, "Oh shit, Lord. I got to go on tonight." So then I threw this on because I didn't feel like throwing nothing back on.
Well, I'm glad
just the robe, you know.
I'm glad you decided to put some clothes back on. I'm glad you honored us with that and shit, right?
For sure. I know y'all ain't loosened up yet, fam. You know.
Well, yeah, especially on the internet, right? I ain't gonna be on here, but right, I ain't got no OnlyFans, right? Nothing like that. So I'm cool. But I mean, who knows what can be done once you get off the air? I mean, and not that but yeah. So they're talking about containment zones, or whatever. And I'm just like, we've known that for a very long time. Like, I don't. If all this is going to be information or data that's collected in the establishment of some real legal movement to get my reparations, right? If that's what this is about, then okay, let's talk about the containment zones. It's not hard to figure out. By being a segregated city, black people live here, white people live here, right? White people have more money than black people. So they live over here where their money is. Black people have less. They live next to each other. Yes, absolutely. The city creates fucking containment zones, right? I don't, I'm just, pardon my French. I'm just like, okay, you stating the obvious. What they call him, Captain Obvious? Like, I don't know. That's just, I would like to know what's the purpose of it. Why are we having this conversation? Because even if you establish that to be a fact, which should be easy to do, what you gonna do about it?
Right. You know what the purpose is so that when they come with that shit you was talking about before, that Waukesha low income, people gonna be like, that's right. They working for us to integrate Waukesha, So we found out black people are piled upon each other. Let's come with high rises in Brookfield.
Shout out to you if you wanna integrate Waukesha. You're a special kind of motherfucker. I'm gonna integrate Waukesha. I'm going to Kenosha and get my rights. You're a brave son bitch. I don't know that you'll ever really get to the end of the rainbow, right? Like they're established the way they are for a reason. And if you don't understand the WOW counties, was it Washington, Ozaukee, and Wauwatosa or Waukesha?
No, not Wauwatosa. Yeah.
No, it's Waukesha, right? What did I say that twice?
Was Waukesha, Ozaki County, and no, because I think Mequon and Ozaki, right? They're like the richest county in Wisconsin.
Right.
Shit.
Well, you got Cedarburg, you got Mequon, you got some places that's doing real nice. And who lives in those neighborhoods? Mm-hmm. We know who live over there. So yeah. Hey, I like to say to white people, congratulations, man. Y'all be making so many revolutionary discoveries. What the fuck are we talking about? Containment zone, motherfucker. Have you ever been to like fucking Hillside, nigga? Come on, man. Stop. All right, yeah. So, hey, man, like Kamara we had to give it up because our boy Orlando ran for state treasurer last night, and he didn't win, man. He got handled kind of rough, man, in that race. You know,
man. One of these days he gonna learn them. People don't like him. Damn. He done wrote us off.
Now he'll reach out to me.
I feel like he wrote us off because he don't come nowhere in, around us. He used to talk about how he was for us too, you know what I mean?
Right.
But then, like, I don't see it, man.
It might be dangerous. Remember they popped a Republican, like some black dude just for being a Republican. So maybe he was like, shit, about to get popped.
I think it may be more dangerous going out there where he be. In them at them bar parties and shit. I'll be more
right. True.
That's what I was trying to tell Rail. Like I said he didn't jump the shark, he jumped the cow. Because he was all posing with bulls and shit and big stud cows and shit. Like, yeah, I'm guns and government and all this shit. I'm like, what are you doing, cuz? Kool-Aid smile on his face. Shout out to him though, man. He still checks on the show every now and then. And
yeah, he do his thing.
Yeah, he'll reach out to me. I
showed him. He made it out of those alive. They still have rallies up here in Wisconsin. So for him to be able to get to them spots and make it out is that's dope too.
Yeah, my mom used to say some niggas don't believe fat meat greasy. I don't know if y'all know. I don't know if y'all ever heard that one before. But my mom used to say that all the time. You don't believe fat meat greasy. And I said it to my kids one time when I was yelling at them, and they just bust out and started laughing at me and shit. And I was like, it was a serious discipline moment too. And I was like,
they thought, kid, they thought you was talking about your meat. Fat meat.
I don't know what they was talking about. I hope they wasn't referring.
Dad just ribbed himself.
I hope they wouldn't think I would make a joke about my fat meat to them and say anything in relation to it being greasy.
You don't think greasy, do you?
I can see what you're like I won't move on you and shit, right? Like, okay. I was thinking like, damn, you went deep. That was an adult response to that shit though. Like, oh, you talking about your meat greasy, nigga? Because they just looked at me and said, what are you talking about? Fat meat greasy, what are you talking about? It was like a crazy moment, man. My kids, man, they some special individuals. But yeah, man, shout out to Orlando, man. You still down with us, man. Come on back on Outlaw Radio. Pop your shit, man. Come on, talk your shit. Talk about how they screwed you over. Let's get to it, as they say. Let's get to it. Now Evers they're completing the purchase of the land to bring the youth prison here to Milwaukee so that they can close down Lincoln Hills. I don't think this is a bad thing, because I know one thing it's gonna do is bring jobs. What y'all think about this? I don't even want to I just because now we talking about we putting basically a juvenile corrections facility in the community. What y'all think about this?
But it was already existing, right? When I read the article, it was saying that they was trying to close down other ones. So
yeah, up north, yeah.
So since it was already existing, I asked where they publicly traded. I mean, shit, if they gonna build the motherfucker anyway, I mean, what they stock prices look like? I mean, shit.
That's fucked up in so many ways that you.
The reality is, motherfuckers gonna break the law. So there's gonna be these places. They gonna keep making laws to make people break the laws.
And you need that too.
When people choose to stay ignorant, you find a way. I mean, you can try to save people from their ignorance, but after so much time, you say, "Well, fuck it. If you want to stay stupid, let me get paid off this shit. I'm gonna try to correct you, but at the end of the day, some motherfuckers gonna stay stupid. So what's them stock prices looking like?"
So you'd invest. You'd invest. Like I'm about to.
It's coming anyway. It's coming anyway. They gonna break the law anyway.
Would you invest in it, Kamar? Would you, if they said they had selling stock on the on a young prison here in the city, would you invest in it?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, y'all some cold-blooded motherfuckers.
It's just a commodity. It's just like, I mean, shit, it's just like investing in oil. Like oil, as they say, destroying the world.
Should we, Kev, how about this? Should we let them only get paid off of it?
That's true.
Right.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. I wonder how many people out there would invest if they were given a chance to get prime stock in the prison. Like, how many black people would say, "Man, shit, hell yeah, sign me up."
Put a poll in the
some of these kids need to be there, man. They need to slow down for a minute, man. They need to take a seat for a second.
Oh, okay.
A lot of them ain't going to school, and most of these juvenile correctional centers, they make them do some kind of
shit. Who I need to talk to get my book in that motherfucker? Like shit, they while they sitting down, they could definitely read my book and learn how to love themselves. We can
definitely make this work, especially because it's so close to the community. Then,
right?
I guess it's a lot of different ways. Listen, I'm not against
turn shit into sugar, man.
I'm not against them putting the facility in the city. I don't think that's bad. But to hear that, I guess if you're a business person, as a black person, say, if I could buy stock in private prisons, I'd do that shit. I'd buy some of it. I'd snatch some of it. Because we going, that's where we at, and we ain't gonna stop going. So I'm gonna get some of this paper too. Why let them? That's like that excuse in the hood when you would say, man, that's out of order, man, that you sell dope to your own people in your own community. And most of the time, the homie would look at you and say, shit, they're going to get it from somebody.
They're going to get it from somewhere.
Me.
They're going to get it from somewhere.
Me, right?
And so, now they're going to steal your car to go out to the boonies to get it. We making it local so they ain't got to steal your car.
Wow.
There's a way to flip anything, man.
If you would like to purchase, look, if you was down, if you hit us in the chat room, comment on the video, share the video, share the YouTube feed. If you are out there listening to my show, and I rarely y'all just let me know. Some people just like to listen and don't say nothing or whatever. If you think it's cool as a black person to invest in private prisons, especially in a state like Wisconsin, where there's a school to prison pipeline, there's obviously some disproportionate kind of conviction rates in the city in terms of the way, in the state, the way black men go to jail and are convicted at a higher rate than their white counterparts for the same crime. In light of all that, as a black man, you still say, shit, how many shares can I get? Shit, okay, well, let me get 50 of them motherfuckers, dog. Yeah. Like, I mean, if y'all cool with that, let me know. I just want to know the kind of people I'm dealing with. That's all.
People make decisions. Not all of them are good. I try to let people make an informed decision, but if they are informed and still do stupid shit,
right?
That's their choice. Why not let me? Why not set yourself in position to where your family can thrive off the choices of others?
These motherfuckers stealing our cars, tearing our shit up. We losing our jobs and shit. Why not invest in it?
Okay. I'm not saying y'all wrong.
I'm just saying you got some kickback. You know what I mean?
Right. I just look at it as another commodity. I didn't think about the depth of it because shit. Like I said, they kill whole villages in Africa to run oil lines. I invest in oil. It's just shit. I might have to invest in lithium, even though I just said they fucking up the planet mining all this lithium, telling people they saving the world by moving to electric cars. Them batteries blow up. That's just the man. What is the overlay for the underlay? Some shit like that.
I don't know, but I use the shit out of some lithium polymers for my RCs, boy. You talking about adding? That's how you get up there at 7,500 100 miles per hour with them joints, boy.
That's too damn fast, man. That's gonna take off somebody's ankle, man. Like my shit go 45. I think mine go 45 kilometers kpm or some shit.
Nah, boy. We armor felony. He this big. He 15 pounds. He do 85 out the box. Rocket. Yeah. And that's lithium powered. I love lipos, man. I don't want to drive an electric car though. I like driving a gas car. I like the way the engine sounds, especially if I got some good pipes. Sharon Evans said, so do you think if black people invest in private prisons, will that curb crime in the community? That's a good question. How can we
think it'll curb crime? I don't think it'll curb crime. I mean, because they gonna do what they doing because they feel like this the cool thing to do.
Okay. Okay, so I'm thinking about the ways that it could curb crime if people in the community turn and say, well, damn, even our own is investing in this shit now. So the street cats don't really operate like that because they're gonna be like, oh man, fuck these motherfuckers. They probably invested in this shit anyways. That's what finna rob their ass. Like it becomes that kind of thing. Like, you know, I'm going
out. They
were
gonna rob you anyway.
Right. I'm starting hitting licks in the suburbs. Right. So, but yeah, once again, I think it's a good question to ask of Black people where we at with that. Because I keep saying racially, Black people need to grow up racially. Do that make sense to y'all? I feel like right now we're very racially immature because we're so sensitive. We can't really do for ourselves. You know, we don't really know who we are. We kind of stumble around trying to figure it out. So as a race, as a culture, as a people, we're very racially immature. I feel like we need to grow up racially. Like we need to take another step.
That's definitely facts. I mean, that could definitely be facts because when they talk about trauma, a lot of times when you experience trauma at a young age, emotionally you're locked in at whatever age you experience that trauma at. That's your emotional age or your emotional body. So a motherfucker could be 45, but as soon as you got them in their chest, they that 11-year-old that got ribbed for having fucked up shoes or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So I mean that definitely can be true. A lot of us grow up in shit. A lot of us have PTSD. We all know somebody who violently got killed or seen the shit for ourselves. So that definitely can have some merit to it, alongside with the fact that a lot of times you're at the emotional age that you were traumatized at.
I mean, because if you look at our people as a whole, like our biggest enemies, the biggest problem we have with anybody is us. Right, like, because with all the shit that Black people because we talk a lot of shit about white people, right? I don't think I'm saying anything white people don't know. White people, if you don't know this, let me put you up on some shit. Black people talk a lot of shit about y'all, right? Look, white man, the goddamn white man, you know how the motherfuckers is, but we'll get right in bed with their ass, right? Like, Chris Rock had that classic bit that I used to play back in the days where he says the most racist motherfucker in the world is a 40 or 55-year-old Black man. Or I think he said 65.
Yeah.
He will be like, hey, Bill, you need to work another shift. He'd be like, okay. As soon as he leave, he'd be like, crack a motherfucker. But he said he ain't gonna let him fuck up his money.
No.
Right. So
then he started tap dancing and soft shoeing and shit.
Right. So yeah, I think as a people, like, and part of this involves, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, getting over the bullshit, because we got too much. We keep drawing on shit. Every time something happens in our community, some motherfucker got to reference slavery. For me, it's a little redundant. Like, it be some shit like, bro, that ain't got shit to do with slavery. Come on, son. Yeah, man, damn, that fuck up, man. That was a car accident. These motherfuckers ran through the light and shit. Well, you know, back in Africa, we was taught that we had to move a little faster because the slave master. Shut your ass up. Get on up out of here, man. I mean, once again, I keep telling my people, don't cry wolf about racism, because they're gonna do some shit that's really racist. Save your energy for that. We'll put our energy into that. All that, some of this shit, they get microaggressions. That's what they call them. That's just microaggression. I'm supposed to be walking around worried about that shit. I got bigger fish to fry, man. You know, it's easy for me to just say fuck you and the horse you rode in on and keep it pushing. Like, I'm not even tripping on you, right? Like, you know, what they say, small things to a giant, right? Knee high to a flea. So, so I say we have to move. We got to get over certain shit. And listen, this is why reparations is so necessary. And I'm telling white people another thing that will give you all a tremendous boost in white morality. This is how this is how white people can white people up, right? Because they got a little racial too, right? If they go ahead and give us our motherfucking money, right? If they just go ahead and give us our money, and when we blow the shit and we come, this motherfucker, we paid you though. Don't bring that old shit up. Just what you gonna do now? Don't even say slavery. You just blew $5 whatever we gave you. I'm just saying, if y'all really want to get over it, y'all want to level up white people, go ahead and give us our money. Because I know me for one, once you pay me, I'm gonna be like, look, I don't give a fuck what you do. I'm on my way now. I know what I'm doing. I'm not of, I'm not of a small mind. I'm not a child. I'm a grown man. So I just think black people need to grow up racially. I'm not saying y'all all immature. I'm saying racially we're immature. And maybe it's because we were enslaved for so long. So our growth was stagnated. But it's been long enough.
It's trauma.
This shit's been over fucking 500 years. Come on, man. Look, there's been so many white men in and out our bloodline. So many different races. Some of you motherfuckers walk around here half Puerto Rican, half Dominican, half Native. But you concentrate on that small part of you that's black. So you say, well, we were slaves. Your ass wasn't. Motherfucker, according to your DNA makeup, you was everywhere. So I'm just saying.
Right. You was in the Caribbean during slavery, nigga.
Part of you was. Part of you was in Ireland, apparently, goddammit. What the fuck?
Right.
Motherfucker, you more Polish than Mr. Wernarski over here. What are you talking about? Listen, I'm just trying to tell you, we used to say this all the time on the show. We are not your grandfather's Negroes, and we're not. I'm not the same Negro as the average old, like a baby boomer. His granddad, he wouldn't even know how to talk to me because he wouldn't be used to me because we wasn't like this then, right? So I'm not your grandfather's Negro, which also means I'm not falling for the same okie doke traps that those Negroes was falling for on the bigger and better thing. So come on, black people, let's get it together, man. That's all I'm trying to say. I ain't trying to talk down on nobody. I'm not trying to judge my people because I ain't Bill the Pill, right? Because I'm right here in this community with y'all trying to get this thing taken. I'm just saying what makes sense because if you keep doing something the same way and the shit ain't working, why would you continue to keep doing it the same way? We've been approaching this shit.
Oh yeah, my bad.
No, go ahead, bro. You got it. I haven't been running the shit out.
I was gonna say, I was enjoying it. I think to another perspective of that type shit. We got to get to a point where we tell them how. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it come in. Like even when you were saying, it happened to the grandparents. Like they finding out now through epigenetics, your ancestors are really in your DNA because your environment affects your genetic makeup even more so than your food now. So they're finding out that when we talk about ancestral memory and shit like that, all your cells hold memory and your DNA is written. Like right now, as we talk, we're rewriting our DNA. And if we pass it along to kids, have new kids, they're going to get the new DNA that we've created. So that trauma can literally be written into a motherfucker's DNA. And that's when we talk about generational curses. So I think it'll be a little bit productive if we give people a plan to deal with it. Give them the knowledge, to understand it, and then tell them things they can do to rewrite their DNA type shit. And that's where I come in through the meditation and through the eating right, and the visualization, shit like that, because it literally does restructure your mind so you can have a new mind to give new behavior, and that new behavior is going to create new genetic information. So sometimes we got to give motherfuckers a blueprint to follow.
That's what meditation was about.
Real.
Yeah.
Traditionally in our culture, that's what meditation was all about.
I want to let Kamar get his, I didn't want to cut him off. Go ahead, Kamar.
No, it's all good. I was just saying, traditionally, you know what I mean? That's what meditation was all about.
Okay.
Right.
Let me tell y'all something. Right. You already know when the motherfuckers start out like that. So
right. That meat
there are some, right, and not my meat, right? Pause, right? Like there are some people in our community. I'm gonna say this, that do what they do on a daily basis, and the reasoning behind it is not about them being traumatized by slavery, because a lot of them don't even know their own history. They don't know us. They heard that shit, but they wouldn't even be able to tell you where they's from. Right. Some of these motherfuckers ain't saying, well, is it part of me in my DNA blueprint that said I should lash out, Kev? Nah, they just don't.
I mean, they don't understand it, but they mama might have been a drunk because of it or a crackhead because of it. They
don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. I'm trying to tell you. Listen, the Kia boys, I wish a motherfucking Kia boy would tell me he was doing that shit because he's traumatized from his being a slave.
They don't know what they traumatized from.
No, man. Come on, man. That's that. Once again, that's one of those things when I say, okay. Right. But Kamar and I, we did this show one time.
Yeah.
What was the show we did? Kamar, we did, what was it? Butt Naked? Remember that? We did a show called Butt Naked, right? And I think people thought, I don't know, I'm pretty sure, they was thinking certain things, but really what the show was about vulnerability. And it was about fear, right? And we all, nobody wants to be vulnerable. More often than not, people got their twos and fews up. They got their hands up. Some of them ain't even tough. They just look tough because nobody wants to be vulnerable. Because when I'm vulnerable, people can take advantage of me, right? So if I'm living in a tough neighborhood, I got to act like shit. I'm one of these bad motherfuckers too, so they won't fuck with me. If I come out here on some square, hey buddy, how you? Boom, somebody even took my shit. So we talked about in that show. We talked about being vulnerable and saying, okay, I want to understand my own vulnerability. So I'm going to be honest with my makeup and myself and who I am. The things that have happened to me, I want to take power over them, right? And not think of myself as a victim, but somebody who was victimized. Right. And since I was the victim, or since I was victimized, there's nothing wrong with me. It's something wrong with the motherfucker who did it. So I'm not going to hold on to this shit and keep acting out and going to crazy and going to jail and going to prison and until just to get over this. Look, okay, you make a mistake once, you made a mistake, right? We do what we do when we're young, but at a certain point, you got to stop leaning on that shit. You got to stop saying you ain't going to try to do nothing in 2022 because somebody couldn't do something in 1952. Man, you know that one time the black man in Alabama, he tried to start that catfish show. Bro, it's 2022. You know what I'm saying? So I just, when I say get over it, I feel like, because look, like you said, I'm not dismissing trauma. We all got some shit that's done happened to us. Right? Because like I told y'all the other night, we was talking about whoopings. And look, I'm not saying my mother abused us, but she beat the shit out of us. It was right on the line. Like if somebody had to just blew, like we would have been on the abuse side, right? It was a fucking cat hair away. I'm not saying she didn't do it for a reason, because we was bad as fuck, and me and my brother and myself was always all over the place. We talked about that I don't process that as trauma. I'm not traumatized by that. I'm not traumatized by that at all. You know what I'm saying? I grew up during the crack epidemic. I lost homies. I lost all of that shit. Like I was just telling y'all about my cousin Cooley the other night. My best friend, at the age of 18, I seen his brains on the floor. He got his brains blew out. I was one of the first ones on the scene. Saw it. Not traumatized by it. It happened. I dealt with it. I'm over it. I'm not doing shit now talking about, yeah, man, because this for you, cuz. This for you, Cooley. I had to remind myself to pull out Smacker the other night. Like, damn, you don't never post shit out for the homies no more. I'm over that shit. Remember back in the day, nigga, I can't even pull that out. No, you don't waste good beer. Man, goddamn thing, man. The homies can't drink this shit. But so I'm just saying, it's a way. And this is why the Nation of Islam uses Dianetics. This is why they've employed that to try and say mental reconditioning. In other words, get over that shit.
You got to do it. Yeah, you got to do it.
You don't understand what happened to me. You don't know what I went through. And I'll be like, you're right. You're right. And I feel bad that happened to you. But, it's Tuesday
and
now.
And you don't allow them to sit there. You know what I'm saying? You allowed to say, okay, yes, that did happen. I understand. But what is your plan of healing? So I ain't saying let them sit and have a pity party. No, but at least when you understand how they got there, it helps you kind of understand what they need to get out that shit or what the plan of action should be. But yeah, you definitely want to present a plan of action whenever you try to present a problem or something like that,
He said, yeah, Marcus, that's bullshit. The Jews were, who's Marcus? Scott's talking to Marcus, somewhere. He said, yeah, Marcus, he thinks somebody named Marcus on his motherfucker. One of them niggas named Marcus. He said that's bullshit. The Jews were enslaved for millennia while your ancestors were running around naked on the African plains chasing antelope. So explain their success.
Well, I'm glad he brought that up.
Hold on, though. This is Scott Epperson, the white troll, right?
Oh yeah. No, it's all good, but let's teach Scott something. You know, actually, Egypt, or well, it was Egypt when the Greeks had it. They called it Egypt. The black folk called it Kemet, and they did not have a slave ecosystem. The pyramids were actually designed and built by educated, well-paid black men. And Jews never were slaves in Egypt. There was a group of people called the Hyksos who tried to conquer Kemet, and they only got so far before they eventually got their ass whooped and evicted out. So the Exodus was really an eviction of a group of Asian, type upper northern motherfuckers trying to come in and take over. They were able to sit there for, some years. That's where they stole all our actual religion. So the Abrahamic religion is actually a bastardized version of ancient Kemetic science that they took with them. Exactly. The Jews don't exist. The Exodus don't exist. Moses never existed. There's never been an archaeological find to support 40 years of motherfuckers that's supposed to have left in such a large amount of people that if they left side by side like the Bible said, it would have actually took them years to get out of Egypt, not a few days. So I'm glad he brought that up, because hopefully it helped a lot of our black people.
He said, "Who the hell brought up Egypt?"
He talked about because he said the Jews were enslaved.
Right. They were enslaved in Egypt, right?
According to their lies that they stole from Kemetic science. So you can actually research that. That's actually history. You'll actually see rabbis say that shit if you look it up. It's just that because they have a whole fucking power structure invented off this guilt trip, they can't afford to really say, archaeology say we never was in there. We tried to conquer that shit and got our ass whooped, and we were allowed to leave with some of their greatness.
So now you see what just happened there? I'm going to tell you what just happened. Scott came in, he said some shit that could be taken, or as Real would say, it reeked of racism, right? It was, you could have took that statement and said, what the fuck this motherfucker
He was just showing his ignorance.
Right, but what I'm saying is,
a lot of the time when they talk, that's what they do.
Well, that's pretty much right, especially when you ain't around, right? Like they run around chasing antelopes. Oh, you're already talking about slavery. We were enslaved the whole millennium. What are you talking about, right? They stole that from us. But see, the mature black person, you see, the racially mature black person says, "Oh no, you actually wrong. Let me tell you why." Bong, 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 and then we keep it pushing. Ain't nobody went to jail. Ain't no white boy got fired on. None of this shit. See what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying, as black people, we can't allow them to say shit that get us riled up like that. Oh, just run around chasing antelope. What the fuck kind of shit is that to say?
Hey, we was here 100,000 years before the first white man even popped up, and they've been here 6,000 years. We've been here hundreds of thousand years. Yeah, we fucked up, slipped up, and allowed them to. Exactly, but we fucked up, slipped up, and they got the ball, and that's why the world is the way it is. It's like a house going from being ran by a mature mother or grandmother to a house being ran by a 6-year-old. Right. Eventually, it's gonna fall.
Yeah, shout out to you, Scott, for being a world-class troll, man. You are that dude, man. But once again, you don't bother me. Right. You don't bother me though. And see, I don't like even the
I love the opportunity to teach. I'm a teacher at heart. So when ignorance presents itself, I feel obligated to,
Well, I do see I do this on both sides though. I do this on both sides though, because I'll do this to a white person who says something asinine like that, but I also do it with a black person who says something as equally asinine.
Right.
So, and sometimes brothers do get like, come on, man, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Man, you don't know the white man who chose me. You'll be like, man, I'm gonna get in my car. Shit, I gotta hear all this.
You might also want to check out the quote from Lyndon B. Johnson that said, if we can convince the lowliest white man that he is still better than a nigga, we'll be able to pick his pocket for the rest of his existence. And if we can, look the quote up, because it say basically they'll be so happy about being considered higher than a nigga that they would gladly give us their money. We ain't even got to rob them. Lyndon B. Johnson.
He said he's doing his part to keep the viewer kind of, man, I don't care about no views. Scott, you should do that, man. Listen, I've been doing this too long. It's been seen by enough people. I've had conversations about it. People know what it is. It's all good, Scott. I don't do this, we used to say all the time, we do this for a cause, not an applause. I'm really not, because I don't have no desire to be no celebrity. You know what I mean? I think what Rail said is very poignant, that sometimes I just like to teach. I just like to talk to my people and have great conversations. So, yeah, keep doing your part.
Just to help anybody watching,
Right, I don't think you improve the viewership at all. Usually we're going to get about 150, 175, 200 people that'll check out a show, which is I don't have a marketing budget, or I got the side of buses or some shit. Like, it's just some shit that I literally do the shit from, my own personal studio. So, but yeah, man, listen, I talk about this all the time as well. Did y'all see the pictures of Wendy Williams that I put in the people?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Karma is a motherfucker, though. Oh, my goodness, man. You know what? We talked about this a couple weeks ago, in which I was saying that there's a lot of things, and it's funny that this comes on the heels of him talking about, or us having a conversation about views, because there's a lot of things that we could do, or a lot of ways we could act that would bring a lot more people in, right? That would get us more views. But I've never believed in like doing something that I'm not, or acting a certain way that I'm not true to, right? So I'm not gonna come on here and do the buffoon shit. I'm not gonna come on here and do the clown shit or the buck dance just so people can watch it. I could come on here and say motherfuckers' names, and man, come on, how many times have we had an opportunity to really shit on somebody on here and like tear them apart, and we just won't say their name, or we won't, none of that bullshit, so the karma is what I've been talking about, because when you build something and that's your foundation, being messy, causing dysfunction and disruption like this, like she's just been the fucking poster child for the gossip type bullshit, and it's become its own kind of media. And if you look at all the individuals who kind of built a platform on this, if they didn't change their ways, they were consumed by it. And she's the latest, but hers is, I don't know what she did. Her shit, she looked horrible. I'm like, what? Why you don't want to say, you don't want to criticize nobody? What day I just found out what an ableist is, right? I just found out what that shit is. I don't know. But god damn, what's going on with her? Yeah, Scott, he said poor Wendy, she needs serious help. Those photos, they was very bad.
Yeah, how old is she though?
She's in her 50s. She's in her mid to late 50s. Yeah.
Oh, I thought she was older than that.
Nah, she had all this surgery. She used to be fat.
Yeah, shit.
Wendy Williams used to be fat. Yes, she used to. She wasn't bad looking, but she took that leap to be this Hollywood. I'm gonna be the next Oprah, and I'm gonna. Scott says she's 58. So she's had. Yeah, she's had some chemical, some cocaine issues, and some. You got. Yeah. She has a very long career. Like Wendy Williams is a pioneer in terms of radio, but goddamn, the house she built is just like, ugh.
Hey, you are also, you remember when she first started, she was a motherfucker entertainer that didn't like.
Yeah, exactly. She would always
she used to bring up bullshit and do all type of bullshit on her blogs and everything.
And she's the one who said Tupac got raped in jail. She was on the radio.
Man.
Yeah, she was on the radio spreading that back in the day. She was spreading that rumor heavy. Tupac got raped in jail. That was one of her big, yeah. So she created that kind of media. I'll tell you, if you watch this kind of stuff, which I do, Star is kind of a descendant of that. Charlemagne was. But Charlemagne got his hands on some of that corporate money and he got himself together. The Charlemagne that got on the breakfast ain't the one from back with where people listen just to be pissed off at dude for doing or saying some of the stupidest shit. So now so he I don't know if he'll suffer the same kind of ending but she, goodness gracious, man. Somebody help that sister, man. Like she's like delirious, like telling the interviewer she's married and all this kind of stuff, and her manager's like, no, look, they cut her off from her own money. because they said she
that shit crazy.
Yeah, man. And then they was talking about they was having a meeting with her, trying to get her back on the show, and she's drunk and she comes out nude and just start masturbating in front of everybody. I'm like, dude,
oh no,
yeah, man, yeah. Her husband says that she was having some serious chemical dependency issues, and he said that they went to the network. I don't know how true this is, because he also had a side chick, which don't make him a bad dude. I'm just saying, right? He had a whole baby with his side chick, right? So he said that she was trying to get help from the network or whoever the producers of the show, and saying, she needs to take some time off. She's got some real issues. She needs some rehab, and they was like, nah. We don't want her to come off the air right now. Like we she got to stay in there. And so he was like, it was like they didn't even care about her life. Like, remember, she just straight fell out on that motherfucker, like, and just it was like, whoa.
Yeah, I remember that. She just passed right the fuck out.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
And so, that's like, so now when like I said, I live in the podverse. When I look at the WAC 100, when I look at Charleston White, do y'all paying attention to Charleston White?
You know what? It's crazy you brought him up, because I was just so happened last night I couldn't sleep, so I was going. I cut whenever I can't sleep, I cut on 85 South pod or the show, and this was an episode from February where Charleston White was on there. And I never knew who the motherfucker was, but he was talking, and they was asking him why he goes so hard on black people and act like he don't give a fuck. But then when you look at his credentials, he actually get laws made. He be helping out the community. And he was saying, when I was an alderman and when I was an actual community advocate, didn't nobody listen to me. But when I put on this character of being disgruntled, that's when I got all the fame, and I could use that popularity to still get good shit done. But what the most part that stood out to me in that interview I seen last night, he was saying how they arrested him and didn't let him out for 7 days. And because it was under the Sandra Bland Act, he wasn't even allowed due process. He said, because basically under that act, they can put you in a mental institution and you basically can't talk to nobody because of HIPAA. And, the only person that's going to let you out is the doctor if he clear you because you took the medicine and followed the regimen. So he said that showed him you could be Billy Badass, but if they really want to grab you, you can't even be like, I know my rights. He said, we cheered for the Sandra Bland Act, not realizing what power it gave him over us to hold us indefinitely without even letting us see a judge.
You may have caught him in one of his limited moments of clarity, but I've heard him talk, right? And this dude went to jail for murder, where him and his friends murdered a white man. I guess they were trying to rob him. He didn't do it. Party to a crime as a youth. Came home. I guess he did get active in his community. He was at one point some sort of Crip or something from Texas. He went out. He got friendly with the brothers in California. He was actually able to attend Nipsey Hussle's funeral. He got support for a lot of the programs that he wanted to do for youth. It is true. He's done a lot of youth activism. I don't think he's ever been an alderman.
Oh, okay.
I may be wrong, but I know he has been a community activist. But the way he's gone about this you can't do anything but lose, right? When you get on and you start saying, fuck Nipsey Hussle, fuck the Crips, fuck the Bloods, fuck GDs, BDs, Vice Lord, fuck all you gang members. I wish you motherfuckers would go to jail. You got some useless ass niggas and all this kind of shit. What you're doing is you're inviting a certain kind of energy to wherever you go, right? Now I get it. You want to jump out there, and I thought maybe, okay, he's doing this because eventually he's going to come out and say, I really just was trying to get y'all attention. This is what I really want to do. But I see when he just like Mace Soldier Boy the past weekend, like, and so, shit like this.
He showed the Mace too on that show last night. He said, nigga, I got Mace with the red beam on it. Because they asked him, like, dog, they said, somebody gonna get you talking about when you said fuck Nip. He said, I said fuck Nipsey because I fuck with, what's his name? Armias. Okay, he was like, but he said, but when you go to these gang funerals, he said the family damn near denounces the nickname and the gang affiliation. So he was saying that's why he said that. he said they don't even call him by Nipsey. They call him by his name because they don't really fuck with the name Nipsey because that's what got him killed.
Yeah.
According to how he explained it.
Right. But my thing is this. I will never use dysfunction to deal with dysfunction. Like I'm not going to say fuck somebody that's dead, whether it's their nickname or however you call them. Or once again, Tupac and Biggie are deceased along with a lot of other rappers for one reason. When you start talking like that, when you start inviting certain things into your environment, you're going to be a victim of them. If I'm always rapping about death, if I'm always rapping about killing somebody, I'm always rapping about shooting a motherfucker. If I'm out here on the streets and I'm all about this gang shit and I'm all about this dope shit, I'm inviting a lot of motherfucking negative energy in, and I'm going to eventually be a victim of it. So
yeah, that's called the law of attraction.
I get what you're saying. And you know, because he is one thing about Charleston White, he's entertaining as fuck. Right, because I've been watching him for a couple years. He is hilarious.
I just seen he just was the nigga on the thing last night. I'm like, who is this dude? And then I seen him say, "Fuck the basketball player lady," and then I started cracking up because I thought of them studs doing that Negro spiritual march and shit.
But you see when Dwayne Wade's transgender son was kissing a transgender boy. Okay, so Dwayne Wade's son is actually the girl, and this is actually a girl, but she wanted to be the boy. Remember that? Now I kept playing that Charleston White clip where he went bananas on Dwayne Wade. Yeah, you was on the show. Come on, you remember?
I thought that was a little Boosie. Right? I only person I know snapping was Boosie about the shit.
Charleston White.
I mean, it was still a dick and the pussy involved. Like, what they mad about? I don't know. Like, well, there go your happy median right there. You want to dress like a girl, she want to dress like a boy. There y'all go. Y'all still create life.
It all seemed very confusing to me. It was just like, what the hell is going on there? Like, so, but I don't live that lifestyle. So once again, so if you do, that's you. But I don't expect nobody to think you got to understand this eventually. Like off top, I don't. It's taking me some time to figure this shit out. Like, whoa, okay. All right, that's how you do it, I guess. I mean, it wasn't that instantaneous for me to understand it. But yeah, man. So my advice to anybody would be like, whether you're gonna be a rapper, whether you're gonna do like content creation, whether you're gonna get out in the community. I've seen that happen in the community where certain individuals get in charge of organizations or certain groups, and they get so lost in it where their energy becomes bad. So they start attracting a lot of negative people towards them. So then it becomes. I mean, I can tell you the whole original Black Panther versus the what were they? The revolutionary Black Panthers, right? This is when I grew up racially. I told y'all, grew up racially. This is when I grew up racially, right? When I was rocking with the Panthers, I was rocking with the original Panthers, and I can tell the story without saying anybody's name or any kind of, and it's been years now. But we got to a point where people were like really happy and they felt like, okay, we got Black Panthers here. It's cool to have y'all. We're going to invite y'all to everything. And then there's a disagreement. So there's a whole other group of Panthers now who walk around with like guns and shit out, right? So then it became like gang banging. Like, so
I remember when that happened, man.
Wherever they was showing up, and people pulling guns and shit, they're all on the news. Right then and there, I said, you know what? I'm over this shit. I'm over it. I at that point, I said, you know what? You're not going to hear me harping on no white man talking about this and that. No more. I'm over this shit. This is the dumbest shit ever. And luckily, it did kind of diffuse itself. And without going into it, if you out there listening, you know. If you know, you know. If y'all want to, send something to the Cash App, I'd send you and tell you what happened. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But it really was, for all intents and purposes, it really was something that brought both parties down, because the Revolutionary Panthers here had to leave. Like, he had to go. Like, this dude basically was asked to leave the city, to put it bluntly. And the original Panthers, they didn't leave the city, and they went on years. We went on years after that, but we were compromised because there was a group of people who was saying like, nah, man, I'm not fucking with neither one of y'all. Y'all on this shit, it just put a certain stigma. And so, you know, but that showed me like, you know what? It's bigger than this. It's bigger than this. If I'm a really be black, if I'm a really be invest in being a black man in America in 2020, whatever it was, I gotta look at it from a different perspective, and I gotta go at it a different way. And so that's why I say getting involved and getting lost with dysfunction, right? Where all of a sudden everything is about, bro, where them motherfuckers over there? Are we finna go up in there? Y'all ready? Like before we even go anywhere, we got, come on, man. Motherfuckers damn near tried to set us up at it. It was stupid, man. Right? Like where I had a bunch of people around me with guns, black people who were dressed in all black with guns out. And I just happen to be the kind of person where I've been in that situation before. So I'm not shook. Like, oh my God, they all got guns. I'm just like, oh, this motherfucker got, oh, that's a shotgun. I was just like, what y'all doing? Like, what's going on? And I got our people out of there safely. But it was to that point where if we had it up, it could have been like blood everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, I said, you know what? Fuck this shit. And when I look back and when you hear me go hard at Karanga, back in the days when we start talking about the original, the US movement, how Bunchy Carter, another brother, was killed in South Central Los Angeles back in the 60s. And Karanga has admitted that he was cooperating with the government at the time. So you had us, who was supposed to be a militant black organization, going against the Black Panthers. Somebody loses their life behind this shit. So you see what I'm saying? Like, it's when you invest in, I guess they said when you play in the mud, when you stay playing in the mud all the time, right? And now and then you got to go down there and get dirty. I get it. But when you stay playing in the mud, it's going to be like, boom, like you're going to have issues. So, yeah, man, I hope Wendy Williams gets better. People are like, what the fuck did that got to do with Wendy Williams? That's where we started at.
The energy, you know, the energy you put out there, it come back.
It will come back. It will come back. Scott said, whatever happened to King Rick, we don't see him out and about on. Look, he's fine. He's fine. He's doing his thing. He's fine. He's still active. He's still out here on the front lines fighting. Like, you know, one monkey don't stop no show. That brother's still out here. But I just, in terms of the group, how the mentality was of the city, like even to the point where, like I said, when we would go into a gas station, we went into Gauss when they took Lena's, which was the old Coles on Capitol, and they had rotten meat. And the dates, like months, rotten by months, and some of it green. And we just filled up three carts, right? And took it up front. We had it all on Facebook. It went viral. The shit was all over the internet. And we made them pay for a neighborhood cleanup. We made them cook. We made them pay the kids to clean up. Made them have a little barbecue. You know how many black people in that community was mad at us for fucking with that store, saying, who told the fuck y'all to come over here? Who told y'all to come over here? Fuck y'all. Come over here fucking with our store. It's our name. And what I was saying was, dude, I grew up in that community. I grew up eating food from Coles. Well, you know, it was Coles when I was little. But so I'm saying I got a stake in the community. This is where I come from. I'm 2 blocks from here is where I'm born and raised. So that was another thing that made me say, you know what? I'm over this shit. I'm gonna go through all this and had no white people said anything about it. It was all black people in the comments. All you fake ass motherfucking Panthers, you fuck y'all motherfuckers, fuck y'all. Woo woo. I'm like, damn, dog. Just because we said get this rotten ass meat, I'm telling you, some of this shit was green in the package, and it was still out. And when we took it up, they were like, no, we don't know. You do know, motherfucker. So yeah, man, it was. I mean, shit was getting done, but that ego.
Man, nigga fight you about their chicken.
Even if it's green,
even right? If it's fucked up. They eat that shit every day, man. It ain't nothing new to them.
I follow a dude on TikTok who's like a meat manager or some shit like that. And he showed how they repurpose all the shit that would be beyond selling. Like how they turned it into those seasoned hamburger patties and shit that you could buy. Or he was like, basically, whenever you buy pre-seasoned meat, they done did that shit to make it look more presentable because otherwise it's pale or, you know, fucked up. So they go ahead and, you know, now it's chili marinated chicken wings. I never
understood why you would buy that shit. Like, why would I buy some pre-seasoned uncooked meat? Like, I always felt like that's just dumb. Why would I do that? Like, I see that in the store all the time. Like, they were like, "You want this?" No, motherfucker. I want the one with no. I season my own shit. You know, I go to one of these goddamn what they call them? The what do they call them? The
niggas don't wash themselves. You know they ain't washing your chicken.
The Taliban chicken places. When you go to one of them and they be like, "You want lemon pepper?" No, don't lemon pepper my shit. I'll do my shit. You don't know how to season no black folks chicken, man. Fuck you doing, man. So yeah, that shit's crazy. Now y'all see, okay, so Aaron Rodgers, right? We said this on the show, right? Aaron Rodgers admitted that he done these psychedelics, I guess in 2020, and he came back and had this crazy season, and he was in the off season and whatever. And we talked about the drug what was it called? What was it called? Rail ayahuasca. Okay.
Ayahuasca.
Okay. So he went and did this. He didn't do it during the season. This is 2 years later. And so I know that there was a big dust up in my Facebook group for People's News Network about, was he let off because he was white? Because there's been so many athletes that failed drug test or did drugs and they weren't punished. I mean, they were punished. And then she said, one of the people who's involved in the conversation said, well, even the fact that he said it made him play better made it a performance enhancing drug. I'm like, wait a minute. So they got word from the NFL today that he's clear and free. The only thing I would expect Aaron Rodgers not to be surprised about is if the NFL was like, check this out. You're going to have to piss for us a couple times throughout the season. Keep yourself clean because we're going to be testing you. He should understand. He shouldn't be why the fuck they want to test me?
Hey, I think Aaron Rodgers know the rules, man. He's pretty smart.
Right. You got enough people.
He ain't going to do nothing that's going to tarnish his shit.
Right.
He just putting people on game about the alternative medicine that he took that helped him. Maybe y'all want to try this. He really putting motherfuckers on something, man. I mean, it's
and I appreciate it
for years.
Right, I appreciate it because they was also mad at him for not getting vaccinated, right? Wasn't they mad at some shit like? So I fucks with him heavy. Because you know, he putting the shit I be saying in the forefront. You know,
but he said
I'm a plant medicine advocate.
He said that he had undergone some procedures that guaranteed that he would. He never said he was vaccinated. He said that he had undergone some procedures that guaranteed he wouldn't get it. I think maybe he was talking about the Highway 100 that he did.
I don't think he didn't say guaranteed. He said what he called himself. He said, yes, I've been immunized.
Okay, he's been immunized. And honestly,
all that means is I worked on my immune system.
Okay. Or he caught it before. You know what I'm saying? Because that was the thing. People, they were saying if you catch it, you might not survive it. So let us give you that's what a vaccination is, a dumbed down version of some shit so that when you catch it, your body used to it. So, I mean, that was another thing that they were saying in the beginning. And I always couldn't understand, okay, if you've caught it already, your body's been exposed to it and built up the natural antibody. So he could have been saying that in a slick way. He could have caught it, which really he was immunized.
I just think he's a white dude that's rich as fuck from Northern California. And he's like, dude, man, rock on. Like, yeah, man, I'm going to go out to Fiji in the summer, man. I got a home out there. Go out there and drink herbal tea.
At the same time, following the rules.
Right.
But once people... Rail kept using one word that just it stuck in my ear the other night when we were having this conversation.
Yeah.
Indoctrination. It's like when we don't feel good, what do? We grab some Tylenol. When we got a cough, we grab some cough syrup. You know, we have an ache or a pain, we go to the doctor. Whatever the doctor says, pretty much, hey man, this is what it is. Whatever he tell us to take or whatever they give us, that's what we say, okay, this is the cure. Now, in some cases, they give you the wrong thing. Right, like with my back, I spent some time with this back surgery. I spent some time in the hospital, and when I was in there, they basically were experimenting on me because I have high blood pressure. So they was just trying different combinations and shit. And I'm like, look, man,
how you feeling now? All right, well, let's change this.
We're gonna add this tonight. We're gonna add this to your IV, and then we're gonna give you this in the morning. Some of the shit made me want to piss bad. Some of it made me where I was just out of it and couldn't. Oh, we're gonna have to bring that down. They kept tweaking it until they got the right whatever. So my blood pressure went down. They let me come home. So I'm saying, so we think about all this stuff and we're so indoctrinated to depending on our government so much. We think that only they can provide relief or solutions to us when we are sick. When there's so many different ways to I'm not a holistic person. I'm not a holistic person at all. I will pop a Tylenol. Doctors say take this shit, I take it. Right? So I know that it's true, but I'm saying I also, if there's some other way that it can be done, I would like for that to become a thing. Where you can say, you know what, you got high blood pressure, take some of this, eat this, and then this, and you can still take your pills, but this will get you to the point where your blood pressure will be regulated. I'd like to include that as opposed to diazepam and get your shot of scissor salt. And you may shit for 5 days straight if you take this. Maybe you will uncontrollably cry snot. Contact your physician. I'm good. I'm just rather die of high blood pressure, right? Like so. So yeah, man, this alternative medicine thing. Unawarely, I think Aaron Rodgers is hitting on something very, very poignant.
He is, and he bringing it to the forefront.
I think he's very aware.
Right. Okay. Because as a football player,
what he doing all this, everything he's doing is strategic, man. You know what I mean? All the way back from punking the Packers into a contract. You know what I'm saying? Aaron Rodgers is real strategic. He's strategic with his words. He makes sure he watches his words. You see, before he used the word immunized, when they asked him about was he vaccinated? No, he went around that and said, well, I've been immunized.
I've been immunized.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
He ain't lying.
So Aaron Rodgers is very aware of what he's doing, man.
Well, I think in terms of a football player who puts his physical, like nobody leaves their sport more broken than football players.
Right.
Professional football players. And we know that for a very long time, the NFL encouraged these teams to give these dudes some wild shit to deal with pain. Horse tranquilizers, all this kind of muscle relaxers, and all this kind of shit. These dudes end up leaving the game, can't move their right side, and now they get these traumatic brain injuries. And the NFL was in denial about it for so long. So I feel like Aaron Rodgers just saying, "Nah, you know what?
Y'all ain't about to play me like that.
On you, man, I done had my collarbone broken. I done had concussions. I've been knocked around, and all this pressure because they pay me this money. You know what I did? I tried a different way. I went out to an island. I drunk some shit, and
it worked for him.
Right, and I came back.
It worked for him, and I think that was one of her. One of the person's biggest scares was that this is a role model, and they pushing drugs to kids, you know, and that's why I try to come. You know, that's one of the reasons I became a licensed hemp processor, because ultimately my goal was to eventually get back into the church on a different level and show them how plant medicine ain't the devil. Because, you know, unfortunately, like you said, our people in general have been so indoctrinated to mistrust their peers and only trust the government, who throughout history have been shown to not give a fuck about you. Like I said, it was Nixon who said we couldn't. It was Nixon people that said we couldn't make it illegal to be against the war or to be black, so we made the things that they do illegal by associating weed with the hippies and heroin with the black people, which allowed us to raid their houses. And you know, this is history of motherfuckers saying that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't be telling them nothing crazy. I'll be trying to show them why do you trust these people? This is what they say. Or you know, Anslinger, you know, demonizing shit, knowing that it ain't right. Or Rockefeller saying, I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers, like who funded the educational board and only gave money to the people who got down with his program, who also funded the medical board and only gave money to the institutions who followed his program. So when you follow, that's why I love history, man, because when you follow that shit back to the source, understanding where it originated from can ultimately reveal its motive to you. And all this shit is for your demise.
So once again, I say part of growing up is once you get that knowledge and I understand that I've been lied to before and I've been misused before, then my mission becomes, well, I'm not going to allow myself to go through that again. Right. So I move on. So I don't latch on to everything. Because once again, we said the other night, I can't stop saying this enough times. The government has no moral compass. They don't give a fuck about what's good and bad for you.
No. Once I learned milk really doesn't do a body good, I said, what the fuck else are they lying about? Like, I was a mouth breather all my life because I love milk. I skimmed back down on milk, man. was able to smell, breathe through my nose and shit like that. I said, damn, all through shit. She want to talk about ayahuasca. What about all the punk ass posters of athletes with that fake ass milk mustache, so that they could keep pumping milk into our schools, giving this bullshit to our kids? So that's my thing. That's one thing that pissed me off about us. We get mad and outraged at the wrong shit. Like you said before, we get mad at the small fires and shit, not seeing the bigger picture.
I once again, yeah, I just think to know is supreme, and then once you know, you just move on. Like, you know, once you get that information, and if it's something you don't know or don't understand, we live in a society where you can find it.
Right.
You can find it. You can start a search. You can start looking. You can start researching, and it's as simple as having one of these.
1,000 libraries in the palm of your hand,
and this motherfucker is high speed, right? Like, so you Siri, what is automechanical location?
Right. You ain't got to go to the fucking index. You remember going to the library, having to get a fucking index card and go looking for, man, shit.
I learned on the Dewey Decimal System. That's how I learned how to read.
That is what it was called. That's
Absolutely. The Dewey Decimal System. Yeah. Now, look, it got a little bit better because I went to college in the 90s. It got a little bit better because you could go to the computer and sit down and it would tell you what drawer to look in. But you still had to go in that motherfucking drawer and pull that card out and then take it to the shelf and find the book, right? Like,
and people are blissfully ignorant now. We have to walk through. Like, I used to love going to the library downtown because to me, that was like libraries that you've seen in the movies and shit. Where you walking through aisles of books to find the fucking book you. Man, now all you gotta do is Google. You ain't even gotta type no shit. Hey Siri, what the fuck is the etymological definition of this? Bam. Now you got it.
Yeah, man. So that's why I can't give people the excuse of, well, I did that shit because I'm so traumatized by the shit that happened to me. I don't know how to do nothing. Now, again, I don't want to take anybody's power, because if you are traumatized, that's some serious shit, right? But you, as an individual, cannot allow that to be a justification for you to violate other people.
Right.
That is the first thing you have to understand, is to say, listen, I don't have the right to assault somebody just because I was assaulted. As a matter of fact, that keeps the cycle going. Right. I really need to get to the bottom of how to deal with this, because there's information out there that can help me understand how this thing works. I mean, even down to the point of it'll explain to you where certain hormones come from in your what you call that gland, the pituitary gland.
Gland.
Right. You can talk about like all these and how to even alter the chemical reactions. That's all these pills that they give you are. It just affect your synapses and this kind of thing. And so you can get natural ways to do that. And Aaron Rodgers called it Highland Avenue. What was it? What was it called? Highway. What was it?
Ayahuasca.
Yeah, ayahuasca. What's up, Vince? Tony, he said, "What's up, Outlaws?" Vince, you should have ran, man. There's so many people who was unopposed last night, man. Vince, you should have ran for one of them joints, man. You could have got in one of them, man. One of them positions, man. With some aldermanic shit up. I didn't see Ashanti's thing up. When is Ashanti up for re-election? I think we need to have a talk about Ashanti Hamilton, right? Like, what's going on with Ashanti? Because what is he out in the community? Do you even see him anymore? He was the president of the Common Council. They thought he was going to be the first black mayor and all this kind of stuff. And then he just fell from grace. Now, it's just one of those things where, once again, when I start siding with certain people, I lose friends in certain other places.
It might be.
You know, Ashanti may have woke up and smelled the coffee and said, you know what? This bullshit, man. Oh, no. You know what? I'm finna back up off of this. He said he's up for re-election in 2024. Okay, so he just cruising, right? Okay. See, right now would be a perfect time to say, okay, let's take stock on his district. Okay. Let's look at his district. Let's look at what is bordered, what streets is bordered by. Let's look at how it's doing. So when he comes and say, okay, y'all, he might just be like, I'm good. I got enough paper. I'm straight, right? You know. But if he says I want to run again, say, hold on, bro. Got some shit we need to talk about. Ben said, what are any of the Common Council members doing? Well, they closed down Burger King in Midtown, and they're trying to close down Culver's
and shit.
So, and they got the sister at the Office of Violence Prevention fired.
Damn.
they was kicking up dust. Like, we giving them how many motherfucking $1 million? Shit, man. Come on, man. Yeah, man. And I messed up because I was saying her name wrong. I said Anita. It's like Anitra Holloman. I think I was saying Anita Holman. I will fuck your name up on this show. I just want you to know. I would say, hey, Lethargia. That's not my motherfucking name, motherfucker. Who are you talking to? It's like earlier when Scott said Marcus. I'm like, who the fuck is Marcus? Ain't no Marcus. Maybe it was somebody in the chat room. I don't know. But yeah, man. Breakfast Club is changing. Angela Yee said it wasn't gonna ever be the same. She's leaving. The show will continue. She's leaving.
All right, that was some weak ass like clickbait. Like the show will never be the same again. I ain't gonna say I didn't like her, but I could do without her. I mean, she yeah, I ain't gonna down talk, but yeah, I could do without her. It ain't hurting me.
Vince, you just tell me when you want to come on. We could talk about her firing. I would love to hear about. We didn't have a whole lot of details. The only thing we said was that it was a situation where we had done a show and I talked about the city trending in the wrong direction, and then she was fired. And it was like, okay, and then supposedly like they were upset about some of the things going on in the city. So ultimately she was fired because the city was trending in the wrong direction. So if you know more or you like something to add, you can come on tonight if you want to. All you just say the word, I'll send you the link. That's how we get down on Outlaw Radio. We got a little time left.
Right.
Yeah, man. Just let me know when, Vince. But yeah, man. The Breakfast Club is as much as I don't. It's hard for me to admit it, but I think what they did there is revolutionary. And to be honest with you, the Breakfast Club probably kept hip hop relevant. For the last however long they've been on, 12 years, they've probably been one of the main things that kept hip hop nationally relevant. Because hip hop is garbage. The music, the quality of it's garbage, right? The conversations now, the clips, the videos, the interviews, the all this kind of stuff is what moves it now, right?
Right. That's why I used to tune in, because they used to have like people like Brother Polite, Dick Gregory, right? People who you really don't see in mainstream media because they talk controversial, or like the doctor. I think it's Amir. I can't remember his name. 21 Savage daddy. He's a doctor.
He got a daddy?
Yeah, he's actually a British doctor and shit. And what? he teaches women about the danger of birth control and how it causes the uterine fibroids and shit like he be busting it down. It's him and another doctor, but they real heavy on assisting women with endometriosis, like uterine issues, and they explain how it's a lot of times tied into the estrogen of their bodies coming from, they were saying how little girls are put on birth control even before they active, just because it's like, oh, well, to curb your cramps or to clear your, like they talk about they prescribe it to clear women's skin up and shit. But he was saying like, yeah, it causes a lot of fibroids, and then the fact that they eat a lot of soy. Soy is a phytoestrogen. So once your body metabolizes and shit, it mimics estrogen in your body.
I did not know any of that. I didn't know he had a father, and I damn sure didn't know that his dad.
I'm gonna find his name. I'm gonna have it before the end of the thing.
Something else. That's something else. You got it, Vince. We'll be on. You can come on Monday. We'll be back on Monday. On Live from the Basement, so you definitely can come on. Because I like to hear. He said she was set up from the beginning. Listen, I keep saying to call this office the Office of Violence Prevention is kind of, it puts them in a bad spot off top, right? Because it kind of like you're indicating that they're going to be able to stop violence in the city of Milwaukee, or cause some kind of mass interruption of it. When I think that they can mediate it and they can work in the community to prevent some of it. But I don't think that they or they can work with some people to prevent more of it. But I don't, because there's too many other factors. I just felt like you in a bad position if you're in that. It's a lot to do. And shout out to all the brothers and sisters who work down there. Because like I say, I know Ray Mendoza and I know Brother Tay, and I know they go hard. I think he's still with them. I see Ray Mendoza. I know they go hard. I know they go in the community and put their lives on the line and be on the front lines working. But it's more needed to stop the violence in Milwaukee. It's a different level of shit that has to happen, right? And so, yeah, you say she was set up from the beginning. I don't know. I'd like to hear. Yeah, that's what I said, Vince. He said wrong name for the organization. Yeah, it should have been named something else, right?
I
Like
put a heavy expectation on them. Shit.
I mean, yeah, man. Shit. That's like if we open up a store called the Lifesavers. It's like you know what I'm saying? We the Lifesavers. That means we can save a motherfucking life.
Right.
No, we just sell medicine. No, it's false advertising. So yeah, man. It's something to talk about. Shout out to that sister, man. I don't know how. We reported on it because it happened, not because I didn't have an extra grind with her. I don't have anything against any of those. Look, shout out to everybody who works in social services in the community, because I know a lot of them. A lot of the people in a lot of these organizations, and a lot of them work hard. They're dedicated to it, but it goes to that thing that we started with when we start talking about voting. I'm just one person. What can I do? One vote. Oh, I'm just an alderman. What can I do? One alderman. Oh, I'm just one organization. What can you see that we already done got about 4 people that could be, if they was networking together, would have made all their reaches better. You see what I'm saying? You thought you was just one voter until you got with this political action group. And y'all thought y'all was just one group until y'all got with this organization. And they connected with another one. Now pretty soon we got some traction and some action. Right? You see what I'm saying? So it's instead of that, oh well, I guess I just won't do shit. Since I can't do it by myself, I just won't do it. Right? That's a very racially immature perspective. Kamar, what you think about the Breakfast Club leaving, man? You gonna be sad? You gonna miss it? Well, Angela Yee.
The Club itself ain't leaving, just Angela
Yee. Yeah, it is.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. I mean, Angela Yee.
Yeah, she was always coming with them weird ass.
They can get another female perspective.
Yeah. Okay. She's having weird ass sexual innuendos. Like, it'd be like, damn, they ain't even on that. Like, like she always find ways to throw it in there.
Have you ever watched her podcast, Lip Service?
Nah.
Oh my God. Listen, I'm trying to tell you, that shit's wild. Like, you would be like, what? Like,
well, I can't even really receive it from her because she seems so like corny and geeky that it wouldn't even be like, it seemed like I don't know, I wouldn't be able to believe it. It's whenever I hear it on the Breakfast Club, she sounds kind of like that corny girl that's just saying this shit to be, shock value popular type shit. But I mean, she might really be a freak, and that's cool. Well, I don't like using the word freak because it's so overly used.
I think it's just that she got a lot of other stuff going on in her life. You know what I'm saying? To where she may not be able to make those appointments no more. Her other engagements probably.
Yeah, she got a show. She got another show.
Yeah, she been in movies and shit. I've been seeing her on Tubi.
So they offer. Oh my God! Don't people my wife be at me about watching Tubi. We'll talk about Tubi.
Man, I love them hood movies. Man,
especially the Detroit ones be my
like
shit.
Buffed Up and shit. Buffed Up is hilarious.
God. All of them. It's the same cast of characters. Them Detroit, they be slamming. I'm trying to tell you, I be watching. They got the McGraw Avenue, the series. Now they got the Dirty D. I watch all that shit on Tubi. Anybody can get on there. But no, you know what? It ain't even really her. It's her guest that she have on there that kind of. It's a wild thing, man. Just go watch it. Just watch it.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
You'll be like, what? That's when somebody came on there. I believe that's where Tank came. Is that where Tank said, well, you can, have oral sex with a man twice and not be gay?
That show.
And then who was that talking about who was that? Benzino or one of these rapper dudes was on there recently. We was clowning him because he went on there and said something about somebody playing with some booty or something like that. It was like, it's all kinds of wild shit. Like, people go on there and just get these crazy interviews. Like, oh no, what was that? Which rapper was that who said he has this thing he likes to do with white women where he likes to dress up like a slave and have the white girl play slave master?
Yeah, I heard that. I forgot who it was. One of them, was people was mad as hell though.
Or was that Benzino? Or was that? It was one of them rappers. It was one of them rapper dudes who came. We was like, oh motherfucker, what's wrong with you? And you got these. I thought, was it Mano? It might have been Mano. I don't know. You'd have to. But go watch her shit. So she has a show that I guess that's syndicated, and it makes sense. Why would I put up with these two motherfuckers and I can get my own shit and get all the money, right? Like, so, and I ain't got to bow down to what neither one of them say. It's time. It's been long enough. Everything has to change, but. Charlemagne always points out that Milwaukee has a special place in his heart because this is the city that they first syndicated the Breakfast Club in, right? Because we know radio in Milwaukee won't hire black people from Milwaukee to work it. they go and get people from other places.
Or we had the Doug Banks, Steve Harvey.
Yeah, they'll syndicate that shit, right? Al Sharpton, right? Like, okay, so fuck investing in hometown. Now you see all the white rock stations from around here. They DJs is, they homegrown. They they local personalities. Yeah, once again, got to grow up a little bit racially. Got to see that's that thing too, where we ain't even accountable to each other, right? Like I'm gonna go get the Breakfast Club, right? It would be so much more, but it's Clear Channel. It used to be Clear Channel. It's radio. What is it now? iHeartRadio. So it's a corporate entity, and I get that you got to make money. So that's just the way it goes. I mean, the music on V100 has been terrible for as long as I can remember. First of all, they play the same shit every 5 minutes.
Yes, they
do.
It
is horrendous.
I've been listening to that 105 something lately, like 105.7 or something like that.
Really, you got to mix it up. Like, you got to change your radio station around often.
Yeah,
to get a good variety. Like, you got to hit 98.3, 105, then V100. Because they all kind of play different shit. You know,
in repetition, they all play the same shit over and over.
Right.
Because 98.3 play the same old school songs over and over and over, and you be like, dude, there's way more to old school than this shit you playing.
Right.
But I understand it. I understand that that's how it's done. But I do believe, like I said, the Breakfast Club kept hip hop relevant for a long time. Has kept it relevant because hip hop musically, man, it's just so garbage, man. It's just so horrible. Like, I be trying to support these youngsters, man, but I'm just like, dude, that shit will not stand the test of time. That music y'all fucking with.
It ain't meant to now. Like right now, it's all about, like I guess I don't want to say particular, but when certain people get a hold of shit, they whole thing is mass production. Mm-hmm. That's where it's quantity over quality, because if you get enough out there, you still gonna get paid type shit. So like I was just having a talk earlier today, like damn, I wouldn't doubt if every time they sign a new rapper, they just go ahead and get like a insurance policy on them, because because they know they're gonna get paid off.
And if they live to see a certain age, they get a payout.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, because I knew it had to be something, because the way they keep dying, but like you said, the energy you put out there is what come back. So if every one of your songs is talking about ops and catching bodies and stuff like that, eventually you might fall victim to being one of the bodies that's caught. So I was like, man, I know they get a policy on them. That way they can get paid while they hot. Then when they die, they collect the policy, and then they own the master. So now the song really gonna be booming. Like I was saying, I didn't know some of these people existed until after they died, like the Juice World or the Pop Smokes and stuff. I'm like, damn, who's that? The people around me started listening to them because they wanted to hear how the person who died sound. Like I didn't know who they was before, unfortunately.
Nobody sells records like a dead rapper, right? And speaking of bed wenches, I just threw that in there.
Damn.
Serena Williams says she finna retire. So
I was wondering who name was about to come in.
No. Look, Serena Williams, I'm gonna say this. Serena Williams is one of the greatest. People say the greatest. I would even give her that. The greatest women's tennis player ever. She is. Nobody can take that away from her. Nobody can take that away from her. I think she's a little confused, right? When I see certain pictures of her, which she got bad makeup on, where it's like it seems like it's an attempt to lighten her skin, and I hear her say certain things, and she probably has philanthropy off the hook, because I'm pretty sure she's donated more money to causes in the community than I have, because she got more money than me. But I just feel like she's just a confused sister, and she's a bed wench for all intents and purposes. Her and Holly Berry and Sherry Big Ass Shepherd and not Sherry Shepherd, Lonnie Big Ass Love, not Sherry Shepherd. I'm sorry, Lonnie Love with her big wide back, right? I can't stand Lonnie Love with her big stinking ass. So yeah,
damn.
And I don't even like to say shit like that on the radio, because I don't, But damn, she started this shit by saying all kinds of foul shit about black men. When you do that shit, it's gloves off. I'm coming at your ass. Don't be disrespectful. It's okay to disagree, but don't be disrespectful. Did y'all see Marshawn Lynch? Oh my God.
Yeah, he was faded.
Dude, I don't think. Well, I'm not gonna say that because I've been all kinds of levels of drunk. I don't know. I would have to ask somebody if like one with one eye closed, where one of your
that
eyes.
Nigga was millionaire drunk. That's a whole nother level. He was E40 drunk. You know what I'm saying?
And they said he didn't have what he was missing 2 tires on his car. He was in Vegas. Where the fuck you going with no tires? Like that dude was smashed.
He was trying to get there wherever he was drunk.
Man, oh man. You know what? For a long time, because I like Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah,
I think Marshawn Lynch stands for something in terms of us, how we portrayed in the movies or on TV, not in the movies, but especially in sports. Very positive brother in his community, does a lot for kids, does a lot for his people, opens up business in his community. But I've been scared for a long time that this kind of thing would happen to him, that he would get a DUI or that he would get, caught with some weed or something like that, and so they can start putting marks on him and start saying no, taking opportunities from him or putting him on a blacklist, which they want to do anyways because of his mentality, but they just haven't been able to do so up to this point. So I'm hoping that this is just a unique incident. I hope he don't mystical. See, we got a new adjective now. You can mystical yourself. Like off of shit and go to jail and do time, and then you get caught doing it 2 more times. You just mystical, right? You can't get enough. You don't believe that means greasy. Right?
I think he just got fucked up.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, he ain't in the league no more. It still ain't right to drink and drive. You know what I'm saying? But I just think he got fucked up, man. He living his life now.
He must have been somewhere. He must have been somewhere faded because he was in some hot shit, like a Corvette or something. He was in I don't even know what kind of car it was, but he must have been somewhere just doing donuts to burn the tires. Like, why you don't got no tires on the car, bro? Like damn, dog. I mean, godly. Prayers up for that brother, man. Shit, he was smashed on that picture though. That was not a good look. Like he'd be looking at that picture laughing for the rest of his life. Like, how faded, man. He probably say somebody dropped a Mickey on him. Look, I want to say I'm happy that Ahmaud Arbery's killer's getting life. Tried to duck that shit. I'm happy to say that Breonna Taylor's killers have been charged by the feds. And why am I happy? Because there is some movement, but it's 3 steps forward, 5 steps back, because we look at Carolyn Bryant, who was responsible for the murder of Emmett Till, still being protected, still not getting her just due for what happened to Emmett Till. Her husband and his brother or whoever, they got acquitted a long time ago, even though they admitted in a newspaper interview that they did it. They found her search warrant from 1955 in a basement in a courthouse in Mississippi. I thought you said murder had no statute of limitation. And now they're saying we find no reason to charge her in his death. I could have swore she admitted some years back that she actually exaggerated on what he actually said or done to her. Supposedly, she said he grabbed her or he wolf whistled at her. Then she admitted that it wasn't even really that much. Either way to go, this motherfucker, I don't care how old she is, her ass should have been taken to jail in handcuffs and left there until further notice. Right. So every time you do get ready to get happy about some shit and say, yeah, Breonna Taylor justice, you say, oh, but goddamn, that shit happened in 1955. The fuck, man. Right. So, and people can say, well, Kevin, you just said get over it. No, be aware of something like that. Be aware of something like that. Right. And that kind of thinking is what's going to make you say, you know what? I got a shitty chance when I leave my fate up to them courts. As a black man, that's what we really should be getting out of this. Like, man, I'm not really trying to take no chances with this motherfucker, with these courts, because they'll lock my ass up. They'll hide me away. I got to figure out a way to do this where I can empower myself and my family and create a legacy. That's growing up as opposed to dwelling on the shit. Right. So I just wanted to throw that out there, man. A little bit forward, a little bit backwards. Kamar, weekend coming up. What you got popping?
Friday market tomorrow. Outpost Friday. Friday market again Saturday.
Okay.
And then Sunday, I'll be over at what's that? Fit for You. They having a grand opening. Fit for You marketplace. They got healthy drinks. They got their lavender lemonade, smoothies. They gonna carry some of my products over there, and it's just a grand opening Sunday. So yeah, that's what I got up this weekend.
Yeah, that's dope.
Vince Tony said, which outpost will you be at?
East Capitol.
Okay. Is it more than one? I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's East Capitol, Mequon.
Okay.
One over on Kinnickinnick. It's one on State Street. I'd have been all over.
I stopped going to the one on Capitol when they stopped serving up them good sandwiches. I went and been back up in there after the pandemic. Thought I was going to give me they used to make them in there. They thought,
they back too.
Oh, is that? I'm going to have to jump off in there then.
Yep,
sandwiches used to be good. What you got popping, Rail?
Shit, same old, promoting my book, 12 Steps to Becoming Your Own Dope. So you can learn emotional intelligence, shadow work, and how to navigate ignorance when it comes against you in this world. You ain't got to show your ass, show your brain. You know what I'm saying? So 12 Steps to Becoming Your Own Dope on Amazon. Also got that multidimensional mindset gratitude journal, which is a 30-day challenge of cultivating a life of gratitude that comes with a mood tracker, gratitude quotes, and coloring pages that help with anxiety and depression. And I'm still on TikTok, Higher Frequency, HIGHERFREAKUENCY, where I'm just trying to pull them blinders off of us, man, so we can stop demonizing our healing and really learn this shit. Just like you said, even the court systems. I've been looking more into that maritime law and all that shit. It just like Jordan Maxwell and all that stuff, and it just make more sense when you see how this game is played, and then it'd be like, damn, is it racism or is it casteism? You know what I'm saying? Because it just get deep, like from the birth certificates and the Vatican owning just all kind of shit, man. So that's the kind of stuff I talk about on TikTok while trying to educate people in emotional intelligence and just learning how to navigate this realm more intelligently.
Man, that's what's up. Passing the knowledge along. I'm gonna share the shit out of this show. I'm gonna share the YouTube page. I'm gonna share the Twitter page. I'm gonna everywhere. Support the show. If you can share it, that's all I ask. Just share the show. Support the movement. We'd like to get some people on. I think I'm gonna go back to. But sometimes I go hard on getting interviews, and sometimes I just fall back. So I think it's coming to that season. Whether people want to admit it or not, summer is coming to an end. We are in damn near mid-August already. Y'all ain't paying attention. They said the world moving faster, right? Pay attention, right? But yeah, man, I hope you got out to vote, and I hope whoever you voted for, you voted for them for the right reason. And I would tell you that there's no reason for you to totally disassociate yourself from this process. If you want this process to work for us, we have to come up with a way to make it work for us. So that means we have to be involved with it, and we have to fine tune it so that it does work for us. Because when it works on our behalf and they don't like it, they do shit like pass shit late at night while you sleep. Like we're gonna make absentee ballot boxes illegal here, and then we're gonna change the way we count them and how we get them. And by the time you wake up the next day, it's already done and said, right? So you got to be in it to win it. That's what the old EPMD used to say. It's like lotto. You got to be in it to win it. And I understand why some people would be disillusioned with it. I totally do. I'm a black man. I live in this country. We've been handled rough, but that's why I know for sure that we are owed money, and I lost my paper, right? And I'm tired of black people, and I don't want to be your friend if you say we can't do that. That'll never happen. I don't even want to be your friend. I don't want you to come by my house. I don't want to see you nowhere. I'm taking your black card. You can't come to the cookout, right? This got to be all about us demanding what is owed to us, which is our reparations, right? And then when we do get our reparations, it's on us to move forward, right? And do what we do. That won't erase what happened in the past. That won't erase what they're going to do in the future. But it gives you an opportunity to make some moves. Now, I know somebody said, yeah, they'll do that shit to us and then make the dollar bill illegal the next day after they pass the shit, right? Well, if they do that, then we know what time it is, right? Because you have to understand, man, at a certain point in your life, you got to stop saying, this happened to me, that happened to me, they doing this to me, they said this about me. You got to get to the point where you just ask yourself, I know all of that, but what the fuck am I going to do about it? That's the question we end the show with tonight. With all of the shit that we know, with all of the things that they got against us, with all of the shortcomings and discrepancies and inequities that we have in our society, and like we pointed out earlier, you got so much access to if you really want to know about it. The question then becomes, what the fuck are you going to do about it? I'll see y'all Monday night.
Peace.